certain Muslim men are like, this is just why we just don't claim Kinza. You want to be a Muslima one day, singing the Adhan, and then you want to dress like this, scantily clad for the world to see? Astaghfirullah, sister. Astaghfirullah. And my response to them will be, brother, I love you anyway. But brother, I don't look like this for me in bean pies, brother. It's too much white sugar. I don't know. I mean, we could get real nitpicky if we want to. Is white sugar within the deen? Is that now poisoning your body, brother? From those bean pies after Jumu'ah, brother? I don't know. How nitpicky are we gonna get? When we talk about the deen, I remember making a comment, really having a question, and I forgot who I posed the question to, but I remember asking somebody if I felt like Allah was going to judge Western Muslims differently than he was going to judge Muslims of Arab nations, because I'm like, our culture is basically like anti-Islam, and if you are trying to walk the straight and narrow path in a world of extraordinary resistance, certainly the forces that you're up against have to be taken into consideration as far as your judgment. And the response that I got is no, he would not. But I don't know if that is the case, because I think he would. Because I remember having a conversation with my father, who was an imam, and he said, people wanted to judge certain people like Muhammad Ali for any speculation of infidelity, but you don't understand, Kinza. And he told me this early on. He said, you don't understand he didn't say this verbatim, but he said something to this in this respect. He said, when you are a man who has basically cultivated a certain level of power, and like a Muhammad Ali, or like you're at like a star level, he said, you don't understand the amount of temptation that it's not like the regular Joe Schmo who's got a 9 to 5, you know what I'm saying, is trying to save up, to take a woman that he likes out on a date. And he's nervous about even asking her because she just might say no. Like, this is not the same kind of person, you know what I'm saying? So he was basically saying he believed that Allah would take into consideration somebody's decisions based off of their not just their options, but also their level of temptation, and also all of the things. If Allah is all knowing, all seeing, omnipotent, omnipresent, then all things have to be taken into consideration. It's a lot easier to live the deen if you are a married woman, and because a lot of brothers will have a lot to say about how some of these Muslim women are dressed, but also within that deen it says that work is optional for Muslim women. So countries, Arab nations that have Islamic law abide by that. You don't see women out there working like that. You see them tending to the home. You see them as more domestic. Because within the deen it says that work is optional. And so, when we try to apply, certain cultural standards and things like that to this Western society, we can get a little bit dicey. In addition to the fact that, I know a Muslim man, I'm not going to call him out, but who was formerly in Congress. There are Muslim men who have all types of professions that they are forced to interact with some very, I know I use this word a lot, but nefarious people. How does the deen come into the conversation when you are rubbing elbows with straight child sex traffickers? So we live our lives in accordance as much as we can, as far as if there is a Muslim model and she may have to put on things that are not extremely modest in order for her to be able to provide for her family, and that's her revenue stream, then, I think Allah knows best. I think Allah would be the judge of that woman. So I say this to say, I was talking about the music industry earlier, and I was thinking about how this idea of taking people's power away. And I was thinking about this idea because I've always been consistent about the fact that I am a musician. I want to do music. Music is my main thing. I've been consistent about that for years, and I've evolved as an artist to some degree. I've become a better dancer, I've become a better songwriter, and all these things. I've collected different experiences, that my content has changed, my outlook, my perception of the world has changed, my perception of the world will change as I evolve. But I'm saying this, that when I was telling a certain person who's also an artist, that he's a graffiti artist, but heavy on the scene as far as arts here in DC. And he said, I would pursue it. He gave me the advice, go ahead, go for it, so you got a chance or whatever, something like that. But he said, just understand that right now, your enjoyment of creating music is, you do it at your leisure. When you feel inspired, you write a song, you come up with some choreography, you know what I'm saying? You play the keys, or I might jump on the drums when I feel inspired. But he said, imagine taking that, and then now all of a sudden it's, we need you to do this for the next 15 hours. Or we need you to be ready to do this for a bunch of people on this stage during these dates, during that. He's like, you have to understand, when we talk about doing music as a profession, that's what it becomes. It is not just you giving your just willy-nilly. You're creative, you enjoy it, you're a dancer, you're free-spirited, you feel the wave coming on, ooh, I'm in my zone, and please don't even, on a side note, don't call me when I'm in my zone. Please don't call me, don't interrupt me. Don't talk to me, don't DM me, don't text me when I'm in my zone. It's sacred. But it's like when you're in your zone, when you're tapped in, it's like, yeah, but guess what? You may be required to tap in and you're not in your zone. It's not your free will anymore. Now it's your profession, and there's a certain mindset that has to be applied to that. And you got to get into the game with the full understanding of that. If you choose to get into the game, now you could just say, hey, I just want to be a creative. I just want to enjoy this music. I don't want anybody telling me that I have to maintain a certain weight, that I can't eat certain things, that, oh my gosh, what is she eating for dinner? Oh, I can't believe she's having spaghetti or a burger. I don't eat burgers, but you understand what I'm saying, or pizza or whatever. And oh my gosh, she's out there. I saw her having nachos and a soda. Oh, it's like that. It's like that, especially when people feel like they have money to make off of you and they need you to look a certain way for them to be able to make that money off of you. And from their perception, right? So yeah, if you eating bread is in their minds blocking them from being able to make the kind of money that they want to make off of you, they're gonna say you can't eat bread. And you have to evaluate if that's the kind of life that you want to live, right? So I was thinking earlier about this music industry and kind of like how, a lot of artists feel like slaves and a lot of artists feel like literally like prostitutes. And I don't know, my mind goes. I was thinking about this Spike Lee movie where the concept of the movie, I forget the name of the movie, but the concept was that all the women basically decided to go on a strike. That's I don't want to say the word, but you know what I mean. a strike where they decided that they did not want to make love anymore to their partners. And the reason why, the concept of this movie, the reason why they decided collectively and they all like organized, like they all were gonna like go on like this pussy strike, was because of the way that the community was looking. The community wasn't up to par. From what I understand, I didn't see the movie, so don't let me misquote. But when I watched kind of when I got a gist of it, there were things that were going on or not going on, that the women were outraged. And let's just say hypothetically, because I didn't see the movie, let's say that the kids weren't being looked after, and let's say that the women weren't being protected, and let's say that, you know, the people that decided to prey on the women and prey on the children and exploit the women and exploit the children, and the men weren't rising up to defend those women. And let's just say that the women were, I don't know, prostituting themselves or whatever it was, and the men weren't stepping in to say that this is unacceptable. The women collectively decided to go on a pussy strike. They said that nah, the men aren't doing their job, so we aren't going to give them pleasure, right? I was thinking about it in the sense of, if something like that could actually happen, if people could actually organize, if women would actually organize in that fashion. And then I was also thinking about it in a sense of the mindset too, when it comes to making love to your partner, right? Because I think a lot of women do look at it as for their pleasure and how they can kind of leverage sex over their partner. But it should be a mutually pleasurable experience. And I was thinking about how that kind of relates to the music industry, right? In the sense of, if you are now an artist and they are saying jump, you got to say how high, and it's not on your terms and you don't want to do it, that's kind of like sex versus with the person that you absolutely love, like your husband, and versus sex with somebody who's paying you to have sex with them, paying you to sexually perform for them. And then I was thinking also, when it comes to your husband, the qualities, right? Because I don't know, I mean, I'm not that, as far as, I guess, the women that are out there right now and dating and all that stuff, I may not have as much experience as a lot of these other women. But I'm sure a lot of the women of the West who haven't been, you know, the only person that they've been with was their husband, could relate to the idea of being with somebody where you just do not want to make love to them because you lack respect for them. And the energy that you have when you have somebody who holds you down, who has your back, who has your best interest at heart, who loves you, who cares for you, who you see as your hero. Not just by how they treat you, but how they conduct themselves in the community. Not just how they treat you, but how they have the well-being of humanity at their heart. How they treat the children. But their heart is about how they want to build you up, how they want to build women up, how they want to build the community up, how they're taking strides against mass incarceration. Like, you're a hero. And with that, with me seeing you as a hero, it is my pleasure to pleasure you, to satisfy you, because I respect you and I want to. Because I actually want to, right? There's a difference. So I'm not going to expand on this too much more. But until next time, y'all, peace.